So let's distinguish ego. For me, ego I recognize as a voice in my head that's usually describing some beliefs that I used to have. They're in the past and the program's old, so how about let's discard that? So, as you recognize from recent programming that we've all been receiving, uh, how do you get someone to believe something? You say it over and over and over and over, and pretty soon they just start to accept it. Well, this is how the ego works in our life. If we have old programming from an old context and we choose to continue to listen to it, it's basically conclusions we've come to based on our experience, which may have nothing to do with the truth. And in terms of ego, it is pretty much the opposite of love. It's bringing up old programming which doesn't serve us anymore. And so if you would like to have a life where you create a beautiful reality for yourself, you change the context and you don't pay attention to the egos continually telling you old stories about yourself. And so what I like to think of the ego as the dictator of conclusions. So we come to these conclusions and the ego keeps saying it over and over. So he dictates that over and over. And so how I get around that is I tend to get in a conversation with the ego. And when it's telling me, Paul, you've never been good at doing that, I just go, well, you know what? I've decided to change. And you can believe whatever you want, but I believe that I'm going this way now and I'm going to have a productive life. And so you get in a conversation, you treat it as something that's really there and change your context on it. And that's one of the best ways. So in that way, you kind of dance with the ego. You see that the ego is telling you of things that you may be tricked into believing, again, because it was an old pattern of yours. So if you want to break that pattern, then pay attention to what the ego's trying to tell you and see the fallacy in it. And then move ahead by telling the ego what you believe now about yourself and about the world. And that's the way to dance with the ego. And anyway, it points to where the weeds are, where you need to pull out old beliefs. And so it is a powerful friend of yours, actually. And that's ego. Thank you.